Hey guys, Dylan from Noble Records coming at you with another video. I've been excited about doing this. A few years ago, it was probably a year and a half ago, I did my top 10 most valuable records in my collection and got a huge response. Everybody loved seeing it, and I saw a bunch of you guys start doing yours as well. It's just been great to see those. But in the past year and a half, my top 10 has totally changed. I have gotten a bunch more records since then. At that point, I was still trying to build back my collection. I sold a bunch of stuff to open my record store, and so most of my heavy hitters were gone. So that stuff was still really good stuff, but I was still trying to build my collection back. So in the past year and a half of owning a shop and getting to know a lot of people and trade with some of my friends, I've gotten 10 records that are even higher than those records. So I assume I should probably do a new one every year because it's going to constantly be changing. But these are the top 10 most valuable in my collection as of now. I'll kind of explain how I came up with the top 10. And I'll even have some honorable mentions at the end. If you haven't followed us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram. My record store is at Noble Records, and on that we just post like all the cool stuff we're getting in, the collections that we're buying, all that. And then I have another Instagram for my personal collection. It's called Find This Record, at Find This Record. And that on that one I just post like all my rare records that I have in my collection and sound clips and all that stuff. And so make sure to follow both of those, and then also hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I would love it if you subscribe to my channel. I try to do videos like this on a regular basis. So I definitely appreciate your time, and thanks for clicking on this video. Also, just wanted to say this is just a bit of fun. I don't normally talk prices on my videos because relatively it doesn't matter. It's about the music. But just from a collector standpoint, it's just kind of fun to look at your Discogs and see what the highest prices are. So, like I said, my regular videos, I don't normally divulge how much a record's worth or how much you should pay for one or anything like that. My videos are just based on the music itself. But like I said, this is just a little bit of fun. So don't get super offended and say that's an exorbitant amount. My last video, I had a ton of people say, "What idiot would pay that for a record?" It's not about that. It's just we're collectors here. It's just a little bit of fun. So sit back, relax, enjoy it. Don't take anything too seriously, and we'll have some fun with it. We'll go ahead and get started. So. Like I said, there's going to be a few honorable mentions. The way I determined that was there's some records that this is based on Discogs. So Discogs has this thing, if you put your collection in Discogs, you can filter it by most valuable. And that's what I did. I went and said the top most valuable. I did not include box sets or anything like that. I do have some box sets that would have been on there. But I took the box sets out, and there are a few, like I said, the honorable mentions that are just as valuable or more valuable than these, but the number on Discogs was wrong or off, or they hadn't sold or whatever. So sometimes with really rare records like this, sometimes people go on there and they'll just sell a cover because somebody needs a cover, and they can sometimes get $50 for a cover, $100 for a cover if it's a really rare record. And so that kind of throws off because if it's $1,000 record, it's got that history of maybe one selling for 100 and one selling for 1,000, and it's going to be the median is going to be 500, but the number's off. So anyways, most of the time Discogs median is pretty accurate, but when it comes to really rare records, sometimes different factors, because they're so rare and there's not that much of a sales history, it can be a little bit off. So I'll get into that. But number 10 is a record I was really excited to get this past year. I had a record in my collection that I did not want to sell, but this collector approached me and just said, "Hey, I've been collecting this particular artist my whole life, and this is the last record I need to complete the collection. I've been looking for it my whole life." And I was like, "Man, I really don't want to sell it, but it sounds like you would appreciate it more." And he offered me more money than it was worth, and I couldn't say no. So I justified splurging on one. So I did get this record. I bought it online. I got a good deal on it. I believe I got a good deal on it, but it's still one of the more expensive records I've ever bought. This is Truth and Janey, No Rest for the Wicked. Incredible early 70s hard rock. It's unbelievable sound. When it comes to like my favorite type of music, this is almost it's up there with my favorite. This, and there's some funk records that are my favorite too, but like just this gritty 1976 early hard rock. It is fantastic stuff. Amazing guitar solos. This is mind-blowing stuff. This is a record I've been looking for several years. The reissues are even like $100, and so it's just really tough to find. But the lowest one that ever sold was $3.99. The highest one that ever sold was $14.50. The median is $525. So that's the median price on this. This is a really nice copy. I think this copy is worth about, I mean, if I was going to put it for sale, because it's so clean, I think it's probably worth at least $800. You know, I've seen them go, like I said, this one went to $14.50. I've seen them go regularly $1,000. So this is a nice clean copy. You know, it's up for interpretation when it comes to really rare records like this. But this one is number 10, $525. I do think that's a little low considering what it is, but I'll take it. It's in the top 10. Truth and Janey, No Rest for the Wicked. Fantastic record. One of my favorites. Coming in at number 9, a really good buddy of mine. I'm sure he's watching this. We're good friends. He was a DJ back in the day, and he has graciously let me buy some of his collection over the past few months. And so a couple of these records in this video come from him. And, you know, it's not the type of thing to where I gave him $1 for them. He knows they're heavy hitters. And he, you know, we made a deal, but I didn't get off too easy. So number 9, this one came from him. This is Placebo. Really fantastic records on Harvest. 1974 French pressing, original French pressing. It's just really killer jazz fusion funk. Man, it's out of this world. I absolutely love this record. It's fantastic. This is one you got to check out if you haven't heard it. The lowest it ever sold for was $243.90. The highest it ever sold for was $853.66. I'm filtering these by the median, so the median price is $534.39. And this is a really nice copy. Original press, fantastic condition. And so I absolutely love this record. Placebo, just incredible keys on this. It's a fantastic fusion jazz funk record, and I think you can stream it, but you got to check this one out. Placebo, great stuff. That's number 9. Number 8. This one might have been on my last list, but this is a Mighty Baby, A Jug of Love. This one, a friend of mine, I believe he told me this story as he was running cable for a cable company at the time, and he was in somebody's attic running cable, and he saw a box of records, or several boxes of records, and he just said, "Hey, if you ever want to sell those records, let me know." And the guy was like, "Yeah, you can have them. I don't know if he gave them to him or sold them to him or whatever, but he acquired a box full of really rare records." This is a super rare UK press. Mighty Baby was a fantastic band. They were more on the prog side in their first record, which their first record I actually like maybe a little bit more than this one. It's incredible. But this I think they only pressed it in the UK, and it is super tough to find. But it's definitely has an Eastern like acoustic type of feel to it. A lot changed between the first record and the second record, and so they changed their style a good bit. But this is a fantastic record. Really good acid folk prog type sound. It's fantastic. But the lowest that ever sold for was $347.22. The highest that ever sold for was $1070, and the median is $544.79. So I don't know. This is a killer record, and it is a heavy hitter and really super hard to find. So Jug of Love, Mighty Baby. Just got this maybe I think a couple months ago. I've been looking for this record for years and years. It's one of my favorite in that early 70s hard rock era. This is Orange Wedge, No One Left But Me, 1974 US pressing, super rare. Great little band. They were kind of famous in their hometown. They toured around a little bit. They had a lot of regional success. Just with touring. They put out another record before this, which is another high one on my want list I would love to have. But this one is really good, solid hard rock. And it's just got that real raw, hot and heavy early 70s hard rock vibe to it. Incredible stuff. This is a very rare record, very tough to find. I believe it's from Baltimore area, if I remember correctly. But lowest it ever sold for was $649. Highest it ever sold for was $1,000, and the median is $684.53. So that'll be up to your interpretation, but this is an absolutely incredible record, and it comes in at number 7. Number 6, incredible record, Moving Sidewalks, Flash. This one is it comes in at number 6. The lowest it ever sold for was $240. Highest it ever sold for was $1609. Median is $750. I got a really killer deal on this. A friend of mine found this in a collection. I think he said there was like nothing else good in the collection, just this. And so he graciously gave me first dibs on it. I bought this one. This one I got a while back. It might have been on my last video too, honestly. But Billy Gibbons, this is his first band. Well, I won't say his first, but it's his band before ZZ Top. And it's just this is original 1968 press. Very hard to find. I think that the Billy Gibbons factor in it is appealing to people, and it adds to the value, but it's also just a really super solid psychedelic blues rock record that's just I think even if Billy Gibbons wasn't on it, it'd be worth quite a bit of money. So really fantastic record. Lately I've been seeing these going for a lot. I know that a shop that I'm aware of recently sold a sealed copy, I think for $3,000. So they're really tough to find, but the median on this is $750, probably about right. But yeah, fantastic record. Flash by the Moving Sidewalks. I'm coming in at number 5. This one is Dry Water. Now, I was shocked to see this. I do think that this is a little high for Dry Water, but maybe not. I don't know. Dry Water is a really killer. A lot of these records, as you're seeing, are the early 70s hard rock. This was 1974. This came out of North Carolina. It's near the Charlotte area, but really good band. I mean, really solid songs, great. I don't see why it wouldn't be worth a lot of money. But just in the past, I've seen him go for like, maybe 5 years ago, I would see him go for like $250. I had one before this one. I found locally, and I think I sold it for $250. So they were still hard to find record, valuable, but the median on it is $750. That's the only one that's ever sold. So what could have happened was sometimes people will just like get a really rare record and it's not available anywhere, and they'll put it on Discogs for a crazy number, and then somebody who's got a lot of money who just doesn't want to wait, they'll just buy it, and then the price of that, it kind of dictates the price of the record. So it changes, and it makes records worth more money that might not actually be worth that much money. But that's what I kind of think happened with this. I think that somebody paid a lot for it, and I don't know if it was a sealed copy or what, but this record's probably, truthfully, if it has gone up, maybe a few $100, I don't know, but it's still a killer record, very tough to find. Wanda, it's her name, Wanda Triplett, wrote her name on the cover. Thank you for that contribution, Wanda. I curse you every time I listen to this. So, Dry Water, killer record. Is it a $750 record? Probably not. All right, coming in at number 4, which this is a more expensive record than that. Here's the thing. This is The Brief Encounter. This is another local record. This is one all the diggers in the area are always looking for this record. The lowest one sold for $65, which had to just been a cover or had to be just a beat up disc or something for one to have sold for $65. Actually, I think I looked at it before, and someone listed a reissue for $65 and specified in the notes that it was a reissue because there wasn't a page for the reissue. That's what I think it was. But anyways, highest one sold for $16.66 on Discogs, and then the median is $7.82. One just sold on eBay, I think, for like over $2,500. I can't remember exactly, but I was watching it. I was like, whoa. So this is probably in the running for the most valuable record I have. It's worth well over $2,000. I've seen it go for more than $2,000 a couple times. So this is one that's kind of, I love it. I enjoy it. It's local, so it's like right down my alley. I love every song on it. It's funky. It's just killer. I think I've heard that there's very limited. I've heard that there's only 100 copies. I don't know if that's true, but it's just a local grail, and it checks all my boxes. I just love it. But I mean, at some point, this is an investment piece. At some point, I'm sure I'll sell it, or I'll trade it for something that I gotta have. But for now, I've had it for a little while, and I absolutely love it. Like I said, I think it's probably 2000, 2500 ish. This is a really clean copy. Stoked to have it. But the Brief Encounter, this is one of the crown jewels of my collection. It's one of my absolute favorites. So this one's way up there. I've got 3 records that I think are my top 3 in my collection, most valuable, and this is one of them. I'll show the other 2. They're in the honorable mentions. But Brief Encounter, a fantastic record. Number 3 is this Trevor Dandy, Don't Cry Little Tree. This one is a gospel funk record from Canada. Lowest it ever went for was $114. Highest it went for was $1,006. The median is $803. This is an original Canadian pressing, obviously. But Trevor Dandy he was in a church. Now, I don't know what capacity. I don't know if he was a pastor or a music leader or something like that, but he was involved in a church, and he decided he wanted to record an album for the church. He was really invested, and then he recorded this album. Legendary Zaza was the legendary producer. He went on to do a lot more stuff, but this was earlier on in his career. Is There Any Love is the song that Is There Any Love in This World is the song on here that's got the killer sample on it. It's been sampled by a bunch of people. That's what makes this record worth a lot of money. That's the best song on here. Now there's a few other that are okay, and there's a few that are bad. But that's one song, Is There Any Love in This World, is just like, it is funky, it's killer. But that's, like I said, because it's been sampled by so many people, that's why it's worth a lot of money. But Trevor Dandy went on to, I think he got kicked out of his church or something, and just dropped off the face of the planet. So I've heard the guy that produced it, he had like a few crates of them in his basement, and at some point there was like a flood in his basement. He just threw them on the garbage, and so they're really tough to find. They're very rare, especially in this part of the world, because they were all in Canada, locally up in Canada somewhere. So anyways, Trevor Dandy, Don't Cry Little Tree. Everybody, a lot of people at least know that that's a mega grail. Number 3, and that median value is $803. So pretty high up there. This next one, number 2, is The Dog That Bit People. Really cool record. This one came from one of my viewers on YouTube. They were digging through a collection, and they happened upon it and saw, like, holy crap, this record's worth a lot of money. They kind of contacted me and said, I don't know what to do with it. It's kind of out of my wheelhouse. So they gave me a really good deal on it. This was probably a year or 2 ago, or maybe a little bit over a year ago. But I think I got it just after I finished that last video, so I don't think it's in it. This is UK didn't have a lot of promos, but that's a not for sale sample copy. But this one's in stunning condition, really excellent. The lowest one sold for was $61. There's another one that might have been a cover or something. And the highest one sold for $1,099. The median is $864. This is a really cool record. They had another record under the name Locomotive. Really great band, but this one, the cover is just hilarious, and the name is hilarious. But it's got a lot of really good, like, psychedelic, leaning towards prog stuff, and then there's a couple of just really killer tracks as well. But amazing record. I'm really glad to have it, and I actually forgot I even had this, and I was going through the list, and I was like, oh man, I do have that Dog That Bit People record, and I threw it on right before I shot this video, and it's really good. There's one song on here that is worth mentioning. It is Reptile Man. It's the last song on the album, and it reminds me a lot of King Crimson 21st Century Schizoid Man. It's got that same feel to it, but yeah, really good one. At number 2. Number 1, I just recently acquired this. I got a great deal on this from Double Decker Records in Pennsylvania. This is Sandstone, Can You Mend a Silver Thread? Really iconic. Well, I wouldn't say iconic because it's pretty unknown, but really among the collectors, a very iconic record. Acid folk from Pennsylvania. Only 300 copies were ever made, but some kids got together and they were able to get some studio time and recorded this beautiful record. The production, like I said, is for an acid folk record like this that's pretty obscure. The production's out of this world. It sounds incredible, and some radio stations got it. They played it around locally, but it really didn't. It didn't take off, and they didn't do much further past this. But in that area regionally, this is one of those grails that everybody looks for. It's a really good like acid folk record if you're into that type of thing. So this one, the minimum one sold for is $420, maximum one sold for is $1,500, and the median is $1,149.49. So right at $1,150 for the median. But this is just a really good record. Like I said, I got a great deal on it. It's in good shape. And it's just a really good acid folk record. It's a beautiful, beautiful record. I believe you can stream it, or you can at least listen to it on YouTube, but definitely check this one out. I'm going to go for a few more that I believe, under the right circumstances, I've seen them auction for more than those. So this one obviously I had to throw in. This is an original press of Randy Holden Population 2. I've been seeing these go for about $1,000. This one's not a perfect copy. Obviously, it's got some ring wear and stuff like that. But this one, I don't know what this copy's worth. I don't care because I'm never going to sell it. But this is just one of the records I look for my whole life. And so I think it's one of the more valuable records in my collection. I think it's worth more than, $500 or whatever the lowest one was on this list. But I felt like it was worth mentioning. I looked for this record for literally half my life and finally just got a copy. So Randy Holden Population 2, that one's a really good one. This one was a gift from a friend. This one's felt. And I've seen this one go for $1,000 too. And these regularly, if they're in good shape, go for $1,000. This one isn't in the greatest shape, like I said. Really good friend of mine, Raj. If you're watching this, man, I'll always remember. I just sent him a message on Instagram because I knew he had a copy, and he just got, he posted a picture of a pristine copy in the shrink. And I was like, hey man, what'd you go do with that old copy you had? And he was like, say no more. I'm going to send it to you for free. And I was like, what? And he just, super nice guy, super appreciative. And I thank him for it on a regular basis. Very good stuff. But Felt is a really cool, crazy, psychedelic record. I love it so much. The cover is insane. But it's just one of those grails I never thought I'd have. And here I am, holding one. This one I just recently got, St. Anthony's Fire. I think the median on Discogs on this was like $350, but I've been seeing them go for about $1,000 as well. Very rare record. This was in tip-top shape, and it is like super, super hard to find this record. Early hard rock style, like a bunch of the other ones I had. But these records, they regularly, when they ever do come up for sale, I've never seen one go for $350. That's super low for these. So I think this one's worth between $7,000 and $1,000, something like that. So that's one that was worth mentioning. First pressing on Zonk. And we're coming down to the final two. Now, I mentioned before that I had 3 in my collection I thought were the top 3. One being The Brief Encounter. The next one being this. This one's Victor Perino's Kingdom Come. I've talked about this a little bit in the past. I kind of took a break from talking about it because I felt like I talked about it in every video. But Victor Perino was a keyboard player for Arthur Brown. Arthur Brown, the Crazy World of Arthur Brown. That's the band I'm talking about. And he had a band called Kingdom Come. Victor Perino's Kingdom Come, he also had a band called Kingdom Come. So Victor Perino is a keyboard player, synthesizer player. He also was the first to ever use a drum machine on a record, and that was on one of Arthur Brown's records. But he used a drum machine on this, which is still super early. I think this is like the second recording to ever have a drum machine on it recorded. But this is an outstanding, out-of-this-world prog record. It is basically unknown. No one even knows about it. I found this. A guy had it in his collection, and I was going through. I picked it out. I saw the cover, and I was like, what is this? And he's like, it's this really weird record. I don't like it, and you're not going to like it either. And he gave me a killer deal on it, and I bought it just based on that cover. It's probably the most insane blind buy I've ever had. But anyways, I've seen it auction. I think the last time it auctioned off was a few years ago, and it went for like 1650. So it went for a lot, and now I don't know what it'll go for. But like I said, I mean, if people knew about it, I think that they would be all over it. But it's just relatively unknown. Only 150 copies ever made. This sucker is rare, and so this is one of my prized possessions in my collection. I got. Well, I won't tell you how much I paid for it, but I got a very minimal investment in it, and it's just I listen to it all the time. I absolutely love this record so much. So, it's a killer. Go online and listen to it. It's out of this world. Now, I mean, there's reissues, but even those are really hard to find. This one's another one I got from my DJ friend, and we had to have a like sit down, come to Jesus moment when he sold this to me, because this was his prized possession, his collection. So this is the Montgomery Express, the Montgomery Movement. This is an original pressing on Dove Records. This is one of the more rare records in my collection. This thing is stupid clean. I don't know. I've heard between, I don't know how many copies of this were made, but I think about 100. Very rare funk record from Florida. The reissues go for $300 or $400 of this. They did a reissue on Folkways that is pretty much the only one you can find. It's got a different cover. These never ever 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 come up for sale. But when you look on PopPsych, I think that they've gone for they've gone from anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000. So I mean, it hasn't sold for a while in the way that the vinyl market is right now. I could see it going for $2,000. I don't know. But one of the agreements I had with him when I bought it from him, he said, "I'll sell this to you, but you can't flip it." So he sold it to me for what he paid for it. So it was fair for him. It was fair for me. But it's a very good deal I got from him. And he said, "You can't flip it. You got to keep it and like it and enjoy it." And I've listened to it a lot of times, and it is just this sweet, sweet soul funk music. It's got that really amazing like rhythm section and soul vocals. It was two blind guys that led this band. All the band was in high school. They're super young rhythm section, but very, very tight. Like I said, down in Florida, and it's just worth listening to if you can listen to. I think you can listen on iTunes. But it is an absolutely fantastic record. This is one of my favorite records in my collection. It's out of this world, and it's unfindable. It's a super, super rare record. So, man, thank you so much for showing me this. You know who you are. But if you enjoy this video, hit the subscribe button. Follow us on here, on Instagram. I hope you maybe got to see some records that you didn't see every day. And these are just some of my favorites that I have in my collection. Thank y'all for watching this, and we'll see you guys.